Hello, my loves. I am so excited to be here with you. If we're new to each other, I have two devices happening over here, but if we're new to each other, my name is Dani Kenney. I'm a certified life and business coach, and I am dedicated to helping what I call heart-centered female entrepreneurs master their mindset and their energy so that they can make more money, make a bigger impact in the world, and create not only a business but also a life that they love. Hi Naomi, I see that you're here. Your ears must be ringing. Hi Kale. So I do these live Q&A sessions every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time inside of my 6-month program, which is Magnetic Business Academy. And I purposely set the program up this way so that, kind of selfishly, if I admit this, because I wanted to start every single Monday, every single week, to kick that off with this incredible group of women. And so every week we have a few questions that are asked, and we'll dive into that together. And one of the questions that I was presented with today, and it was actually last week, and I said, you know what, this is a really big, powerful question. I'm going to sit with this over the weekend and craft a very thoughtful, heartfelt response, and then we'll dive into this together on Monday during our Q&A. I was like, okay, cool, great. So I wanted to share this with you. If you are tuning in with us right now on Facebook, I will update the title on Instagram Live, but the title of this video, and we're going to be snappy here today, is how to powerfully support yourself and others when life presents you with less than ideal outcomes. Hi, Miss Anita. It's so good to see you here. And so if you want to take some notes, you can. I'm going to run through what I shared here. So I want to give a little bit of context. When life presents us or our loved ones, and really, if we're being true to the context of the question, Magnetic Business Academy, and that's where we covered this today, is a group full of coaches, healers, business owners, service providers, people who are supporting others professionally, okay? So the one thing that I want to proceed with is how we support ourselves and others, whether they be clients or loved ones, in difficult or less than favorable, less than ideal situations is gonna vary a little bit. There is, life can be tricky and messy. Hello, welcome to the human experience. Welcome to being a human being. There is no manual, there is no guidebook. We're gonna do our best. And so what I came up with feels really powerful, so powerful that in the 20 months of leading this program, I have never taken content that I've shared there and then later on come on and repurposed it here. But this feels so incredibly helpful that I wanted to do so today. So I want to let you know that this is a bit of an outline. These are a few tools that can be really, really helpful, but this isn't going to work all of the time with everybody. So you can pick and choose here, okay? So some of the things that I put here, especially if you're in a role of professionally serving people, if you're a service provider, if you're a coach, if you're a healer, if you're a consultant of any kind, and you're working with a client, what naturally happens is you fall in love with your clients. You're invested in your clients. You want to see them win. You're putting strategies and plans in place and providing them with tools and resources to help them win. And so when things don't necessarily go their way, or they're really certain of an exciting outcome and life presents them with something totally different, and they're left feeling defeated or deflated, heartbroken, that can be sad. That can be tough for them. That can be tough for you. And so the first thing, whether you are serving others or you're going to take some of this information and use it for yourself next time to more powerfully move through a process, move through a situation, first and foremost is don't take it personally. If you're serving someone else, know that things that unfold for them in life, especially things that are out of their control, is not something that you have to take personally. You don't have to take that on for yourself. In fact, if you're in a role where you're serving others and you start to take things personally and you start to make them about you, you're no longer able to serve them as powerfully as you possibly can. The other thing, if you're not familiar, there is a book called The 4 Agreements by an incredible author named Don Miguel Ruiz. The 4 Agreements, if you haven't read it or listened to it, let that be the first thing you do when you're done watching this video, whether you're here live or if you're catching the replay, make sure that you hashtag replay. And so I think it's rule number 2 is don't take things personally, right? Because once we get invested in that way and we make it about us when it's not really about us, it can totally drag us down. So that was the first thing that I said here, whether you're serving someone else or this applies to you. Whatever these unexpected, crazy things that are happening in life are, don't take it personally and try not to make it about you as much as possible. I know sometimes, but depending on what we're dealing with, that's easier said than done. Number 2, whether you're supporting someone else or yourself, hold space. Hold space, meaning create space for whatever is coming up. Welcome the emotions, welcome the experiences that are coming up, welcome the thoughts, let it all come up. What does this look like? You can hang out with yourself and look at, okay, this sucks. I don't like this. This is uncomfortable. You can cry. If you're supporting someone else, you can support them in, having a tantrum, feeling everything that there is to feel, which can be really deeply uncomfortable. But I think as human beings, we are not taught or equipped with how to really powerfully deal with our emotions. And so we want to jump over them. We don't want to feel the feelings. We want to get on to the next thing. We want to, put on our happy face and be 10 steps ahead. And sure, you can do that, but that's actually more harmful than it is helpful. In order to move forward powerfully, we have to give ourselves permission, or when we're holding space and supporting someone else, creating the space for them to be in the experience of whatever it is that's happening, okay? And then again, for context, there's different types of things, different types of situations, and different extremes that life can present you with. And the situation that we were speaking to today was a client who was so certain about getting an opportunity. She was prepared, she was ready, she was excited, she was visualizing it, she was thinking about it, and she found out she didn't get it. And she was so invested in it that getting this news was quite a blow. It was pretty heartbreaking, but something like that can be, maybe less extreme than a major life tragedy or losing a loved one. And so we want to be mindful of what is the situation that we are supporting ourselves through and or supporting someone else through, okay? And knowing that there are going to be different emotions, different stories, different experiences for everything, and knowing that it's all welcome and it's all valid. For the context of today, someone not getting a really incredible job opportunity, or maybe a business launch or like that flopped, or a business deal that fell through, or a breakup of some sort. Like all of those things can impact us differently. But one thing that you can do too is hold space, be in it, and give yourself an amount of time. Say, okay, I'm going to be in this. I'm going to cry. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to be frustrated. I'm going to be pissed. And I'm going to give myself the rest of the day. If it's small, give yourself the day. If it's something that feels quite a bit bigger, maybe you give yourself several days. Maybe you give yourself an entire week just to be in it, to be in the heaviness, not to rush through the process. But what's really beautiful is when you're processing something super heavy and you say, I'm gonna feel this. I'm really gonna be here in it. I'm going to give myself permission to let everything come up. And then you say, and I'm going to give myself all day, or I'm going to give myself the whole week for this. I can process things. I've been practicing this for a really long time now. And so most things we like Dani gives herself an hour. She gives herself 2 hours, especially if it's, finding out something, happening at the kids' school that like frustrates me and kind of throws me off and readjust the schedule, or like something crazy happening in business with a client or team, or something that I thought was going to happen a certain way. We're talking a couple of hours here. And what happens is when you give yourself that space and you're clear around how long will I be in this, it lets you go all the way in. And it also reminds you that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And why is this powerful? Because typically when we're dealing with less than favorable situations, it brings up a flood of emotions, and we can start to wonder, am I ever going to get on the other side of this? How can I ever possibly move through this? And so by giving yourself permission to be in it, but then also giving yourself what feels like a reasonable, healthy timeline, it allows you to move through it much faster. Okay, so there's that. Number 3 is looking at fact versus fiction. I spend a lot of time with my clients doing this, and this is so incredibly powerful. And this can be tricky to do on your own, because our ego, which is, a client shared this with me once, which is the acronym for edging God out. It's the part of us that wants to remove us from our divine truth and keep us stuck in a place of fear, because it thinks that's where we're safe, but that's not where we want to be. Our ego will try to tell us stories. Oh, well, your launch in your business failed, or you didn't get any clients over the last 3 months because you're not good at what you do. You're not smart enough. What you have to say doesn't matter. No one wants to buy things from you, right? Our mind will start to create these stories, most of which could not be further from the truth. And so being able to look at a less than favorable situation and look at, okay, what is the truth? What is actually happening here? Like, what are the facts? And being able to take the story and take the emotion out of it once we've felt the emotion, because we have been holding space, right? That's why this is number 3. Take the emotion and the drama out of it and look at it for what it is. Then what we can do is we can start creating more empowering stories. We can start looking at, where can I take radical responsibility? Where can I show up differently? Where can I try different things, right? So number 3 is fact versus fiction, and make sure that you're separating the stories and the disempowering self-talk from the facts and what actually happened. Remember, we don't do that until we've gone through and we've allowed ourselves to be in the feelings of it. Okay, once we do that, it's like, okay, let's take all of the story out. Let's remove the negative self-talk and look at this for what it is, okay? Number 4, and this order is actually important. If you're going to use these tools, this order feels really, really powerful and important. Number 4 is, once we've looked at and dissected fact versus fiction, let's look at the lessons. Okay, what are the lessons to learn from this? And again, it doesn't work to jump straight to, well, what did I learn? Because we need to process, we need to cry, we need to feel. And then once we've gone through that really emotional healing process of giving ourselves permission to be in it, then we can we're in a much more empowered space to look at the lessons. What are the learnings? What is there for me to learn about myself, about life, about others, about business, or whatever, career, whatever that situation might have been specifically in regards to. And here's a little note. These lessons are often going to be rooted in a place of love and a place of wisdom, and coming from your highest self, not a place of anger or resentment or frustration. That's not where the super helpful life lessons come from. Sure, there's learnings and all of that, but when we take the time to go through a situation and look at it and kind of go through each of these steps, we are prepared to have a much higher, much more loving, compassionate perspective, right? And in looking at the lessons, we can also take, remember number 3 was fact versus fiction. We can start to take that story, and if it's not a really helpful, empowering one that's going to benefit us, then when we're looking at the lessons, we can make sure that we choose a story that actually feels helpful, a perspective that's going to support us in getting to where we want to go and stepping into who it is that we're called to be. And number 5, the very last piece, and if you're just tuning in, this is how we can support ourselves or support others really powerfully when life presents us with less than ideal situations. Like, how do you handle that? That can be really sensitive. And again, this is going to vary from person to person. This is going to vary depending on the situation and the severity of the situation, right? But these are some really general rules and a powerful process that you can use and do some self-coaching or coach and support others if they're open to it and they ask you to, or you have their permission to support them, right? So the last piece here is asking the question, okay, what's next? So that's a really powerful question. What are we going to do about this? So we removed ourselves. We're not taking it personally. We felt all the feelings. We really processed this. We allowed ourselves to be in the heaviness, to look at the fear, to look at the density, to look at the heaviness, to look at like, what am I making this mean about myself or about the world or about the situation? Then we took a step back. We pulled out the fact from the fiction, the story we were telling ourselves. We moved to a higher perspective. We took the learnings. We created a more empowering story. And now we're going to ask the question, what's next? So that we can continue moving forward from an empowered place. Moving forward from an empowered place. So what are you going to do next? What is that aligned action? Is there something you need to write down? Is there something you need to journal? Is there something you need to document? Is there a way that you're feeling called to move your body? Is there someone you need to reach out to? Is there a plan that you're going to craft for the rest of your day, the rest of your week, the rest of your month, the rest of your year based on what you're experiencing? So that last component is asking yourself the question, or if you're supporting someone else, asking them and supporting them in creating a plan for what's next, to ensure that they can move forward in the most empowered way possible. So this felt so fun to share. After doing this work for the last 7, going on 8 years, I've coached hundreds of women in lots of different ways, women all over the world in one-on-one settings, in person, virtually, in groups, in in-person experiences, in different types of virtual experiences and workshops and retreats and so many incredible things. And over that span of time, I've been able to support so many incredible women through lots of different things, really high highs in life and business, and also supporting them through the super low lows. And these are some things that I have found myself using again and again and again, and being really, really effective tools. And so I was so excited to share them with you. Feel free to comment below. Feel free to send me a message to let me know if this was helpful, to let me know how you plan on using this. And then lastly, one of the things that I was sharing in the beginning was this powerful conversation and set of tools that I created today was inspired by one of the women inside of Magnetic Business Academy, which is my 6-month coaching mentorship program dedicated to helping you take every aspect of your life and your business to the next level. Doors to that program are open right now. If you're loving this conversation and you're really curious about how you could get access to more tools, coaching, and support like this. I mean, this is like a little sliver of what we do inside of what I call MBA. Please reach out to me and I'm happy to send you an application and we can have that conversation. So I love you so much and I will see you next time. Mwah.